How's it going, everybody? I am Preston Johnson. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV.
As a general philosophy.
That's exactly right. You're a fish.
Qwan, by the way, my producer, Qwan Young, doing a good job. He'll be taking the calls. How you doing today, bud?
Hey, man, how are you?
We appreciate you guys tuning in. Welcome to the show, Bets TV, bringing you Last Word Cheetah. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, brought to you by Bets TV. I am Preston Johnson here in the Bets TV studios alongside Qwan Young. What's up, man? It's Friday, Matthew Stafford season. He's recording for something I think it's going to go airing tomorrow. The Qwan Show, first one.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's exciting times. That's it.
You know, the life as a Detroit Lions fan is bad when the most exciting thing that's happened to them is that Stafford got traded and he's wearing a Rams
Listen,
jersey
this would have
now.
been a Barry Sanders jersey if they did it in 98 when he was wanted to leave. This would have been a Calvin Johnson jersey in 2016. This is the first time I get to experience the best Lions player on a better team.
Good luck. I forget what your price was. I think you said the first bet Quan's ever made. We talked about how he set up an account. Caught me off guard, but 16-1 Matthew Stafford. He'll break that and some more stuff down tomorrow. You can check it out here, Bets TV as well. Wearing my Dodgers get up. This is now the fourth time this year. Fair warning. 13 straight unders when I'm in attendance.
Hammer it.
Dodgers under 8. Find it. Just doesn't lose. We've talked about it plenty, so I won't go into it again, but literally 13 straight. Every time I go, the least exciting game possible.
To keep it going, I won't bet it.
Thank you. Give everyone else a better chance. By the way, it's day one of Betting Extraordinaire in an hour. We'll go live with that for those that want to play. Yesterday, Amari Cooper. Man, Dallas threw the ball so often, man. They just were like, we're not going to run, which is generally good. And they had a chance to win that game if their defense gets like one stop in the final 27 seconds instead of a Gronk post that went for 25 yards. Look, they had a chance. I don't hate it. Dak took some hits.
Man, Dak was playing.
But they look good. And CeeDee Lamb and Cooper and Gallup, like, they just have so many weapons. But here's my question, which, by the way, you guys can call in 661-515-BETS. We can talk about the game last night, week 2 coming up for college football, which we'll talk about all my college football stuff in the back half of the show. Pick a side for every week 2 game, and then my Moneyline Underdog Round Robin. What is Ezekiel Elliott like going to do now? Is he just like a blocker that occasionally swings out for passes and runs 4 times a game? Like he looked dusty anyway, but I mean, that's got to be frustrating if that's the game.
I don't
plan.
think that was the case. I mean,
you think that was like a Tampa Bay centric game plan?
Vita Vea was in the backfield. Like, he was lighting that center up.
So then it's one of two things. Either congrats Kellen Moore and McCarthy figuring out, hey, this is our best chance to win. We're not even going to bother trying to run the ball. And, you know, they almost did win. Pull off the upset. Look, we talked about it. I thought that line was kind of too high anyways. It was just weird, and it seems like Dak's fine. So we kind of know what to expect from Dallas, I think, going forward. But I'm a little bit worried / intrigued about the Ezekiel Elliott situation if they're really just going to be passing so frequently. But also that could have just been the plan of attack for the Buccaneers specifically. We will see. Who's up next? Qwan said a name. Oh, okay. There was someone that just DM'd me a few minutes ago. That might be Austin. Go ahead, put them through. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah, man. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Excited for the weekend. A bunch of football coming the next 2 days. And if you have a game that you really like, college or NFL, lay it on us. Tell us what you like. I'll tell you if I agree, disagree, or where we're at.
Alrighty. I'm thinking tonight with some Coastal Carolina and Kansas. I'm thinking the over moved up a little. I hit it at 52. I have this tool. These are some filters. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it.
Sure.
Just
Go
some
for it.
filters. Sports Insights, Bet Labs is what I'm using here.
Yep.
Home spreads minus 25 to infinity, non-conference, betting the over. Total between 34 to 55. Historically has hit at 57%. The margin normally is 2 points over. Checking the box score from last week. Coastal Carolina gave up 14 points to Citadel. I'm thinking that Kansas can get a couple more. than that to help with the over and, with the system, just thinking bigger spreads, a little bit lower total for college, average total in this situation. They expect some points at least from one team, and Coastal Carolina's offense looked pretty dang good last week. Granted, not against a very good team.
All right, so let me break one thing down. So we can lock you in. There's still 52s. For if you're not aware, we track everyone's bets throughout the month. You have a chance to win cash at the end of the month if you do well. So we'll lock you in over 52 in this game tonight. Last year, and we know what Coastal Carolina did, right? They took everyone by surprise. One of the better teams in the country, probably the best story of the college football season. They got outgained in the Kansas game that they played last year. Look, defensively, they weren't great, and they especially were not against Kansas. They didn't look great against Citadel on that side of the ball either. I tend to agree with you, especially if you can get the 52s that are still around. So, yeah, if we can get Kansas to outgain Coastal Carolina again somehow like last year, then you're 100% going to be in great shape. So I don't mind it. I like the side. I appreciate you calling in, man. Good luck this weekend.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care. Who's up next? Andrew from Chicago. Welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hanging in there. Excited for the weekend of football. You going to hit the college slate? I think you've been doing college plays, right?
I've been doing college and a little bit of baseball.
Okay.
I don't really love any of the college games this weekend. I mean, there's going to be some awesome ones to watch, but some of the lines just kind of scare me off. I was looking at the Iowa State one, but I think I'm going to go with the baseball play today.
All right. Throw it at us.
I'm looking at isolating the Reds offense against John Lester today and going with the team total over. I would take the money line, but it's a rivalry game. Both teams are trying to get in the playoff mix. John Lester has been good his last few starts, but I think he falls back down to earth. The Reds absolutely mash, and they have all season. And I think that line's at about 4 right now, so I think they can get 5 runs pretty easy.
Do you have a 4 that you can quote me from a book right now? On the screen I have that shows team totals, I see 4.5 at plus 117. So there probably is a 4.
I got, give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, no problem. You'll have to lay juice now. I mean, half run in that range for a team total is pretty significant, but I imagine you prefer 4 than 4.5.
I got over 4 on FanDuel, minus 120.
Beautiful. Cool. We'll lock you in for that one, man.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. Good luck. Who's up next? Tom Davis, the man, the myth, the legend. Welcome back. How are you doing?
All right, buddy. You looking good now.
I am. You were looking good at the blackjack table. You hear Qwan? You remember that comment? He's like, ooh, you like the hairdo? Plus, we won the hands. That was fantastic. Hey, Tom, what do you like this weekend? You going to go football?
Yeah, well, you got me wanting to go Dodgers since you got your gear on now. But I'm looking at 2 of them. I'm going to let you help me pick which one. Arkansas money line or either the Troy money line.
Ooh. Man, I wanted to bet Texas again this week. I liked them last week against Lafayette. We talked about it plenty on the show. And just in general, I've been bullish Texas because everyone's saying they need a few years to rebuild. I thought that was a good buy point. I chickened out on laying 6 earlier in the week, though. Now it's basically 7 across the board. I think there's 6.5 left. I wouldn't use Arkansas. So if you're looking at Troy Liberty, I liked Troy as a buy at 6. It's 4 now. But you know, if you think there's a money line shot, I think that game was closer to 50-50 than the market was. At least earlier in the week, and right now my line's closer to 3. So still a little bit of value on the Troy side.
All right, I'm gonna ride with you in the under at the Dodgers game tonight. How about that?
He's like, that sounds nice, but also you've won 13 straight unders when you go to the games. So, yep, that's easy. 8. I think there's flat 8s. Let me just double check the juice. 1 second.
I'm gonna either take the easy money or either break the argument going on.
I'm about to sneeze. I got to push the mic. Oh, nope, it's going away. I was about to sneeze. I give you minus 115 to the under. That's the best price. There's no more flat minus 110s. Everyone heard The show's been up, for about 9 minutes now. Steaming under. We'll lock you in now, minus 115. Hey, good luck, Tom. Good luck this weekend.
All right, brother. Have a good time. Peace.
Take it easy.
Safe.
I will. Everyone be safe. By the way, I am going to the game tonight with Spreadopedia, our good friend. He was here for the very first show, Jason, that we did in studio, talking strictly baseball. And shout out Kevin Adams, who may or may not be listening. I remember after the show, it was the first one he'd ever done. We had some camera issues we were dealing with. Qwan was learning his stuff over on the side, but he's like, man, you and Jason need to be more lively. Like, we got to have guests that are more lively. You know what? Jason sat here and talked for 20 minutes about how Ohtani was going to win MVP and everyone should bet 30 and 40 to 1, and that's going to cash. So take that. I'd rather take the winners than someone that can dance in front of a camera. Anyways, I'm excited to go celebrate with him tonight at the Dodgers game. Who's up next?
Our boy Patrick is lit in Vegas. So
Oh, yes.
we're throwing him on.
Patrick, I'm even drinking caffeine and sugar to try to get on your level right now. I try not to drink sugar, but I was like, you know what? I need to grab a Pepsi from the vending machine. What is up? How is Vegas right now?
Well, Preston, you better spike that with something a lot stronger to catch up with me, my man.
Bring me the hand sanitizer.
Well, you know what? That's a start. That's a start.
Where are you at? Did you sleep last night?
No, I got in about 1, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
But I'm not jet lagged because I was only coming from St. Louis. But, I mean, it was really like 3 o'clock, so that's like super late for me. So
okay.
I'm adjusting today. So, and you can't be hungover if you're still drunk. So I got to keep going. Got to
just keep it going.
Through.
All right.
Yeah,
are we going baseball or are we going football?
No, baseball's dead to me.
All right.
So for NFL, I like the Panthers over, and I like the Falcons over as well. Both these lines have moved. Panthers have come back down a little bit, I think, because Crowder's out for the Jets, and I can't remember the other receiver. I think he's going to be out too. So I hate taking the worst of the number on the Falcons. So let me ask your opinion. Would you bet the Jets total at that number now or the Falcons total at this number now? I'm going to phone my friends.
So the Falcons one's up to 48.5, like you said. That's just been trickling up.
Yeah.
Look, I know that's I think maybe Drew's one of his favorite bets of week 1. Jets, Carolina, that's the total I think that has the biggest edge at 44 especially. Now, Crowder's not great, but it's still too low. That's the one I would go with. It's ugly in a sense because it's the Jets.
Because I did bet that, we talked about, because Tone, I think he was on that too. And I said that it was 43 all summer. So I bet that a month ago, but it's I hate taking the worst of the number. But, I'm not losing any money, I guess. So, yeah, I'll ride with that Panthers total over.
Let's do it. And by the way, do you fly back before Monday? How long is this?
No, I fly back on Monday. On Monday.
All right. Well, I expect a story or two if you're able on Monday, if you can call in.
Okay, as long as my wife isn't listening.
Correct. As long as she's not within shouting distance, we'll be okay.
Which
right,
usually she's not a regular listener, so I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Okay. That sounds good. Good luck.
Right.
Stay safe. We'll talk to you later on next week.
Did you hear him yell, I'm on the phone with my friends?
Like with whoever he's with?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that. At the beginning?
No, right when he was about to go into his bed.
No, I missed it. Is Carlos up next? Who is it?
It's Alex from Ohio.
All right. Alex first, and I think it's Carlos. Alex, what's up, man? Welcome to Last Word Cheetah.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well. Excited for the weekend. You going baseball, going football, Saturday, Sunday?
I think I'm going to go NFL if there's any plus 4.5 Jets left out there.
There's not. There's even some 3.5s. So there's only 4s. If that sways you, you could go elsewhere.
Let's roll then. Let's roll with the Seahawks.
Ooh, I actually haven't heard many people talking about this game. Seattle, Indianapolis. I feel like everyone's staying away. They want to see with Carson Wentz what's going on with the Colts. Break it down for me. Why do you like Seattle? I'm intrigued.
The biggest thing right now is I saw Vontae Davis is out, or not excuse me. Xavier, what's the corner's name? What's his
no
name?
problem.
Xavier Howard? Is that wrong team? That's wrong.
You just think Russell
One
Wilson
of their
will pick
corners
on him?
is out.
I can look it up for you if you want. It doesn't really matter if one of the Colts corners is out. I don't expect everyone to know every single player. Xavier Rhodes is probably the Xavier you're thinking of, right?
Yes.
All right, continue on.
He's going to be out. And Seattle just has a load of good receivers. I think -3 is going to be too low, even on the road.
By the way, there is a spot dealing -2.5, -115, or you can take 3 at +100. Do you have a preference?
I will take the 3 +100.
Ooh, okay. We'll lock him in for that. -3 +100 on Seattle. Good luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you later on.
All right, thank you.
For what it is worth, if you have the option in the future of taking -2.5, -115, or -3 +100 in an NFL game, you should take the -2.5, -115. Just throwing it out there for people that are maybe shopping around this weekend, firing some football bets. And Alex, if you prefer -215, -2.5, -115, now that I said that after you hung up, we can switch it. Just message me or Qwan or DM or whatever. It's cool. But I just wanted to relay. Yeah, you need more like 20 cents would be closer to fair, even a little higher than that for a 3. So I'm not sure why, and it's at DraftKings. Unless the screen is wrong and they just pulled it. Now I'm intrigued. But I'll dig in. But I think there is a 2.5 there. Anyway, people can tell me if I'm wrong too when you call in. But in the future, 15 cents for the 3 is worthwhile for sure in the NFL. All right, Qwan, go ahead, patch through the next caller. Who are we speaking with? Carlos.
What's up, Preston? It's Carlos. What's up? I should have listened to you. Don't ask me why I bet what I bet, because
so many
I don't
points,
sometimes
man.
know myself.
You were actually
It's funny
right.
because
That's why I didn't know why you bet first half under. You were like, there's going to be a bunch of points, like 60.
Qwan, did I come closer to having an actual score?
Yeah.
I know I did 30 to 27. Yeah, I probably was the closest person.
Yeah, for sure you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, listen, I bet with my real money, Cowboys +9, so I feel good. That's good.
Well, next time use that for the show. Don't go first half under before telling us there's going to be 65 points.
Right. I like Pittsburgh +6.5. I don't know what your opinion. Do you think it gets to 7 prior to kick? In your opinion, sir?
I think Patrick actually asked that same question last week. The gentleman that's in Las Vegas right now, a little bit tipsy. My assumption is that no, it won't get to 7, and even if it did, you would have to be watching the screen pretty closely and snatch the 7 immediately, because otherwise someone else would. There's 1 or 2 spots that are 6, so the chances of it going to 7 I don't think are very likely. One global book that takes pretty big limits is juiced on the 6.5 towards Pittsburgh anyway, so I don't envision that. Okay. I think you'll get 6.5 now is fine if you like the Steelers side.
I like the Steelers side. I'm going to bet that with my own real money. Yes, I will.
Not your son's money with his teammates?
No, not my son or my daughter or even my new softball team. I haven't had to hit them up.
Oh, yeah. How was practice?
So, yep.
Good?
Practice was okay. I only had 6 girls show up, so I don't know how I'm going to play tomorrow with 6 girls, but we'll see what happens. I need at least 7 to play. But
okay.
I might have to put on the gear and play some kind of position. I don't know. But
if you do that,
allow me.
I will pay someone to stream that game live for the love of everything. Find someone in the crowd. I'll give them $100 to Periscope. Carlos playing a softball game with 6 other girls.
This Ladybug reboot suck.
Oh, man.
Good luck this weekend, Carlos. We love you. Take it easy.
You guys have a good one.
I really will. That's $100 to watch Carlos play softball.
I would pay. I would stream it.
There, that's $200. There it is. We could probably raise money, can do a Kickstarter for this.
I mean, somebody just needs to turn on the phone.
Who's up next? They do that at the Hawaii game. Someone just sits there with their phone and like everyone's watching the Hawaii game stream at 1 a.m.
We got Ty up.
All right, Ty, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I am doing great. Excited for football. Are you betting tennis, though?
Well, I just wanted to get your opinion quickly on how you feel about the Browns on Sunday.
That was one that on Tuesday we talked about. I talked about all the sides I like this week. Browns plus 6.5 was one of them. Now at 5.5, probably not as much of an edge, but we talked about it. I thought it should be closer to I think my number is 4.2. So I thought it was worthwhile. Yeah. And Patrick even called in and gave out, we're not like trends people, but he just thought it was interesting. He made the note. He said the last 17 Super Bowl losers, I think he said, were like 1-16 against the spread in the season opener the following year, which is kind of wild. And I was like, it's probably noisy, but he's like, if there's something to it, I don't mind having it in my back pocket. So I still like the Browns side potentially, but the difference between 6.5 and 5.5, there's even some 5s now, probably significant enough that I wouldn't play it very, very big now, be a smaller bet. But yeah, that's the side I lean at least still.
Yeah, I got some stale 6.5 in a pick 5 contest that I'm in, so I may go that way, but I won't go that way for the show.
Cool.
I am going to go to the U.S. Open off last night's win. I'm going to go the men's. I believe it's the second match tonight is the match that Djokovic is in. I want Alexander Zverev. You should be able to get north of plus 200 unless it moved on me.
220. I got 220.
I'll say 220. Yeah, you heard it here first. He's beaten the Joker tonight, and
this is still the same U.S. Open, just to make sure, where you faded Djokovic pre-tournament with the field, right?
Yeah.
And there's only 4 left. Is it the semis? I don't follow it very closely.
Yeah, it's Medvedev, a young upstart kid from Canada with a hard to pronounce last name, and then Zverev against Djokovic.
So this is your chance. I mean, most likely this is it. You're doubling down. I actually respect that. He's faded Djokovic pre-tourney. Here we are in the Final Four. Takes Zverev plus 220. We'll lock you in, man. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Same to you.
Who do we got up next? Hey, Vic, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Just stoked and getting pumped for football all weekend long. You firing on a football game? You like baseball today? What are you going with?
I'm going to go with some football, man, and a little NFL action.
All right, hit us with it.
All right, so the Falcons and the Eagles, like what's the best line you got in favor of the Eagles?
The best line I see currently is plus 3.5 on the Eagles at minus 110 flat.
Okay. I'm going to ride with the Eagles, man, with the 3.5.
Yeah. All right, break it down for us.
That's another game I feel like the Eagles could possibly win, you know what I mean? But I'm going to, sort of like last night, I like the Cowboys to potentially win, but, with that huge spread like that, it's almost a lock. So, if I'm if I'm thinking that a team could actually win a game and they're getting, over 3 points, with the Cowboys last night was, over a touchdown, you got to roll with them, man. So I like the Eagles with the 3.5.
All right. We'll lock them in, plus 3.5, flat minus 110. Enjoy your weekend, brother. Good luck this weekend in college
Preston.
and pro. Take care.
Enjoy your weekend, Preston. You too, Qwan. Y'all hold it down. Have a great day.
Thank you. By the way,
right,
everyone knows, Qwan, that I like Atlanta, not in this game, but as a whole, and I have no clue what's coming out of Philly this year. I'm just all ears, like top 3 team. I'm trying to figure out where you're staring at me very intently.
I missed what you said. I was on.
Oh, it's all good. I was just talking to myself. That's what I usually do anyways.
Last word, Cheetah. You got to get the last and the first word for yourself.
We have someone else on the line or no?
We got a lot on the line.
Oh, mercy.
Up next is Ken from DC.
All right, let's fly through these because for Fridays, I need some time to go through my pick every single damn game on the card. And then the Moneyline Round Robin, we can squeeze in at the end. Who'd you say was up next? My bad.
Hey, Preston.
Ken.
It's Ken from DC.
Got you. How you doing?
I'll be quick.
Thank you. Go for it.
Buffalo just popped at 14.5. Nebraska, that just went over my limit, and so I'll take Buffalo.
No. I'm on the other side, the 13 earlier in the week.
You are, but you got a number under 14. It's very different.
We can both win this one. There is 14.5s in the market, a few spots. So tell me then.
So that's it. That's all I take.
Okay. Is there any reasoning? Are you worried about Buffalo losing the world, the coach, everything off season, or are you just basically off of what we've seen from Nebraska? No good.
When I cap numbers, it's totally data science and numbers. I don't even look at what's going on. And so, like, if I have like a 12 and it goes to 14.5 or 11, that's enough for me.
Just
auto. And that's how I do it. I barely watch as much as you guys do because I have another job and everything. But the numbers are just ring true, especially like the first 4 weeks of the year.
By the way, were you the one that called in earlier this week with South Florida?
I am, yep.
So I'm not sure because we both agreed this is just too high. At the time you called it, I believe it was 28, and now it's popped back up to 28.5, even 29. I don't get it, man. It could be ugly.
Yeah, I agree. There's a couple others too that I got to look like. UMass way too high, Connecticut way too high, but those, I don't know what the floor is for those two teams. They're really bad. So like I try to stay away from floors and ceilings. You just don't know the variance. It gets kind of ugly on the top and the bottom. You don't know how bad or how good teams are.
Yep, totally.
So I try to stay somewhere in the middle.
That's why we do the Thursday.
Anyways, have a good one, man. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yep.
Qwan, that's why we do that Thursday segment with Pikachu, who yesterday sounded like an alien, and everyone complained.
Everybody
complained. But no one really likes to handicap those weird, awkward floor and ceiling tail end games, and so he likes to, and he generally does pretty well. So that's why we do that on a Thursday. I think it's interesting. I thought it was a good idea that he pitched me a couple weeks back. Who's up next? Let's go on.
We got Sarah.
Sarah, what's up, man? Let's get straight to it. Hit us with your favorite play this weekend.
Yeah, man, I'm going. I actually like Atlanta in that Atlanta-Philly game, so give me Atlanta.
Okay, I believe I can give you a 3. Let me flip back to NFL on my screen real quick. Boom, boom. Yeah, I can give you a 3 minus 120. So we'll lock you in with that.
Thanks, guys.
Cool. Appreciate the call. Take it easy. Good luck this weekend.
We got Brian from New York.
All right, patch him through. What's up, Brian? How are you doing? Welcome back.
Hey, Preston. How you doing?
Doing well. Doing well. What do you like this weekend?
I'm going to go with the Patriots money line on Sunday.
Ooh, all right. Let me find the money line prices for you. Minus 165. What's the angle versus laying like 3 or plus money on a 3?
I don't know. I honestly feel like I have the worst breakdowns whenever I call in because I don't make projections or have my own numbers. I just bet with basically what I want to happen, and I'm a Patriots fan, so I just want to get the win.
Hey, man, I appreciate the honesty. That's okay. One of the reasons that I like doing this show and just talking through stuff, though, is a lot of callers that do try to break it down, they realize that, like, after the fact, like, okay, like, oh, maybe that doesn't actually make any sense, or yeah, maybe I just am a Patriots fan and want them to win. So I actually don't mind your side. I think the minus 3 is the right play for New England. I'm very cautious with Miami and a lot of what they did last year with field position and defensively with all the turnovers they created, just hard to duplicate. So I'm with you. Let's go New England. We'll lock you in. Good luck this weekend, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Awesome. Thank you. Sounds good.
Take care. I love the honesty. It's like what Quan's new show will be tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing, but this is what I want to win. I used to be a Lions fan. Now I'm a Stafford fan.
This is it. We got
MVP. I live in L.A. now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's up?
I'm about to get nagged.
Oh, no. What's up, Tone? How you doing?
What's good, Preston? Happy Friday, brother.
Likewise. You sound super composed, poised. You got
Always
a W?
am. Until I get triggered. What do you think about Mizzou money line?
Ooh, someone's calling out some money line underdog round robins in advance. Why not?
Oh,
Why not? Why not Mizzou money line? Drinkwitz.
Yeah,
look, super high variance game, and look, did you watch that Kentucky game by chance at all against Monroe?
Yeah.
How bad is Rich Rodriguez's kid? Like horrendous. Like it was unreal.
And Slovis was terrible last year. So what? One game against UL Monroe, and he's this big time guy. Kentucky's, heads out for Kentucky in the SEC. I mean, sheesh.
Yep, I am with you. I think that's a very good. Plus, you can get +5 still, and I think it should be closer to 3.5 regardless.
Oh, Longoria with the homer.
Get the plus money. I forgot he's the in-game serial money line better.
Oh, no, I was just watching the ball game. Giants are going to win that division. It's tough for you. I don't know how they're doing it.
It's amazing, and also the Dodgers took the lead, and then they just lost a bunch of games to the Giants. So, yeah, probably not going to happen. By the way, I didn't look at what the money line price is. I can give you better than +175, which will be what I have to use for the round robin. +185's out there. 185 from Missouri.
I know you're not so high on the Gators, but did that little performance by Anthony Richardson at the end of that game get you a little bit nervous?
He tried, man. I total and dog there. It was sick. But look.
I think Mullen was really trying to, I don't know. He was really going for it at the end for a reason. So, I mean, they've waited all this time.
Basically, South Florida has to cover 21. Otherwise, this could get a little bit funky late.
Yeah, and it's I'm not so sure he's so confident in Emory Jones. He's waited all this time. He was this big recruit. I went to Florida, so I'm a Florida fan. But he, waited all this time for him, and the guy just, can't throw the rock at all. And Richardson looked more dynamic running it, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yep, it will be. We'll lock you in from Missouri, man. Good luck this weekend. We'll talk to you later. Bleh. Is that usually how he ends his calls now, I think? It's a few of those in a row where he just Who's up next?
I believe this is a new caller. We got Joey from New Jersey.
Joey from New Jersey. Welcome to Last Word Cheetah. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. What do you like this weekend? You going college football, NFL?
Well, I got a couple of college plays and a couple of NFL. I wanted to give you my top one for each. See what you like.
Let's do
better. That. So NFL, I'm thinking about teasing the Niners and the Rams. So both -1.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then for college, I kind of like the Texas under 57.
Ooh, explain that one for us. Why do you like that one?
Well, I feel like a young quarterback, Sarkisian's going to keep it pretty simple. Arkansas likes to have that 3-down nickel look a lot, and they're going to try to keep everything in front of them. So I really think that's going to hit.
Interesting. So for what it's worth, my projections have that game a little bit higher. So I would disagree with the total. And I can't ever disagree with a profitable 6-point teaser in the NFL getting 7.5 down to 1.5. So of those two, I'd use the NFL teaser to lock you in for the monthly.
Yeah, lock me in with that.
Cool. We will do that. Appreciate the call, man. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks. Take care.
See ya. How many more are we talking with, Qwan?
We're good.
We're clear?
Yeah.
All right, not bad. Whew. All right. Put up the graphic where I get to pat myself on the back about how well I did last week on these while I take a drink before I start firing off another 100 plays. He didn't even have it ready. Now it's awkward. There we go. 27-13. Luckily, while we were going through it live last time, I had made switches on 2 plays as we were talking to callers, and both worked out. So shout out to whoever flipped me on the Oklahoma Tulane one. I was dead on. It was what is Tulane going to do with this change of venue, gross spot, and they almost win that game outright. So that helped out. And there were 2 adjustments we made to numbers that didn't end up mattering. Like UCLA, I had to switch from 3 to 2.5. I'm going to pull up the screen in front of me, see and make sure that they're still available as we go through. But these were sent to Qwan so he could make the graphic about an hour ago. So we'll do my best to make sure. Again, if there's a couple that need twerking, changing during this, we will update those and track accordingly. But here we go. Week 2, Kansas, it's ugly, but 27 now. Just got to fire. Just it is what it is. There's going to be like 5 of those this week. And UTEP's another one. Look, this is a game I actually think over. You can get some 56s still. That was one I talked about. There was a little bit of question with earlier in the week when we talked Wednesday about a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind. It's not too significant. It bounced down to 55. Now it's back up to mostly 56.5. So that's the only thing I really would prefer in this game with UTEP's passing game and just how badly their defense played, in my opinion, against New Mexico State, despite New Mexico State only scoring 3 points. I believe they had 5 trips inside the UTEP 25. So probably should have been a lot more than that. But when it's all said and done, you can get a 26 at Circa, which usually I'm going to side with the Circa side if it's shaded one way or the other, or like Penny or Chris, right, globally. But this is one where I'm not. My number is a little lower. I just got to trust it. But there are some 24.5s out there if you like the other side. Like this gap's pretty big tonight, depending on the book you're shopping. But both plays that are pretty ugly. Next up, Illinois, 10.5 against Virginia. I love how they beat Nebraska. They lose to UTSA. Now they're over double-digit dogs against Virginia. Like, when was Virginia really that great and that much better? I don't think that's the case. It should be closer to 9. And so, yeah, got to take I think there's an 11. No, there is no 11. 10.5. We're going with 10.5. Next up, Army minus 5.5. No opinion other than slight lean to the 5.5 side, and most of the market is 6. So just going with that. Ohio State, there was one minus 14. There is still minus 14 at a spot. I'll say this. I'm at 15, but I am genuinely, and another reason why I like the 63.5 going over the total. To give up 300 yards in the first half to Fresno State is concerning on the Oregon front. Ohio State's defense wasn't great either against Minnesota. Oregon's offense can improve. That's the direction I go in this game. It'll be one of like the 2, I guess, marquee games this weekend. So everyone's watching it, but for this exercise, I'll take the half point. That's better than the majority of the market, but I wouldn't bet the side otherwise. I think it was Ken, right, that was just talking about this game. Tall number, UMass plus 37.5. I think that should be like 34. So this is one that if UMass wasn't just god-awful, probably should actually bet it, but it's just scary. But yeah, if you can get 37 and a hook, there's a few spots there. Plus Circa's 36.5. So, and I actually think this moved today. Like someone came in and actually did take UMass. So this other one, I actually like South Florida. We faded Florida last week. Same thing. Just got to fade Florida again. I think 29's too many. Now, if there was a team before last Saturday that looked worse than all the others, it was that South Florida NC State game. So it's scary. They could just be way worse than we anticipated. But I'm okay going up against a team like Florida that I thought was a little bit overrated in the market generally entering the season. And now we're getting over 28.5. You can get 29. So going with that. Pitt, no opinion at all. I'm exactly -3. Right angle, I believe, bet Pitt earlier in the week when it was under 3. It was 1.5, 2. I'll just ride with that. But my number's spot on. I think 3 is fair. There are some 3.5s, so I could probably go that direction. Take the 3.5 with Tennessee and Heupel. I'm just going to side with right angle and basically pray. This one's interesting, by the way. We talked about it earlier with South Carolina. I forget. It might have been Christian who called in. And we were talking about why is South Carolina an underdog? They're getting 2 points. Now they're laying 2.5. I think I skipped it on the graphic. So that's my bad when I sent him a list. I'm going through the screen, though. But I like ECU getting 2.5 now. So that should be under South Florida there on the graphic. Don't blame Qwan for that one. I just forgot to put it in. That occasionally happens when I even would tweet them out every week. For the last 5 years. So sometimes I just miss one when I'm typing them all out. But I think the number I have is basically take the 2.5 that's out there. But, man, it's a weird one. I still don't know how to cap grad assistants playing quarterback games with maybe Doty coming into play, even though no one thought he would be able to play quarterback this soon. And I don't know, there's just a bunch of weird question marks going on. FAU, I will take -6.5 because there's a few of them, but mostly market is at 7, and that's a pretty significant difference. And so one thing I didn't go through before I did this week, what we did last week, is I think this exercise is good outside of just kind of reading markets and getting an assessment of where different books are at, but it's, just like an exercise of shopping around. And like you find a couple differences where a couple books are -6.5. When most of the market is 7, that's just going to add up long term, especially if it's a game you don't have an opinion on anyway, which I don't. I think it should be 7. Then, for this exercise where I have to take a side, those will add up, right? So it's not necessarily just paying away the VIG. I'm actually able to capitalize to some degree. Okay, so now that I got over that South Carolina skip, Miami, Ohio looked pretty bad against Cincinnati. Let me try one more time. Not exactly thrilled. Didn't look great. Minnesota, no Ibrahim. I think it's Ibrahim. Man, that injury was brutal. Was it an Achilles? I think it was Achilles, but he's out for the year. And I'll take 18.5 with Miami, Ohio, despite, I think they got trounced by like 35 to Cincy. Tulsa, there's still a 13 out there. But there's a bunch of 13s, but Circa's 11.5. And I will say this is one of 2 sides since we did all my sides Tuesday that I think I've added as an actual bet worth playing, sent them out to some of my friends. Look, and I'll talk about this game just for a brief moment, and I may be talking about it later on the show, heads up. Well, Tulsa's box score against UC Davis was really weird, and I just can't get over it. I've been looking at it all week. I wanted to wait to see if Spencer Sanders, who was scratched last second for Oklahoma State last week in their FCS game, COVID protocols, he's been locked up. I wanted to see, because he was announced that he was going to play earlier in the week, if the line would move up and maybe we would get a 14. So that's why I was waiting. It went at 13.5, like 1 or 2 spots. It got bet right back down. I think 13's the top, especially now that Circa's showing 11.5. So it's a buy now on Tulsa. I can't wait any longer. Not going to get a 14. But that box score, UC Davis, look, Tulsa, man, they outgained them. Yards per play, all that. You look at everything. The turnovers were against them. They had 12 penalties for 122 yards. I think they were 2 for 11 on third down. So the variance just on third downs was insane. And you look at Oklahoma State, who couldn't even run the ball really in their FCS game very effectively. Now they're going to try to run against a Tulsa front that just is super stout. You don't have Chuba Hubbard, who's now in the NFL. And Sanders is coming off of maybe COVID. Maybe he's not 100%. We've seen with Cam Newton last year comes back, and Jason Tatum in the NBA took him a month to get back to where he was at. I don't know. This is all speculation. It's only a bonus our side. I have Tulsa as a 9.8 point dog anyway on average, so that's why I would bet it regardless. But for the money line round robin, I think it's a great super high variance with all the extra kind of question marks on the Spencer Sanders and Oklahoma State side. And the fact that, by the way, last year Tulsa almost beat him outright. Sanders got hurt in it. It was the backup quarterback. And the only offense, they couldn't even run with Hubbard in the backfield. The only offense Oklahoma State had, people that watched the game will remember this. And I believe we might have had Tulsa money line in the round robin actually last year too. And they should have won. On the final drive, Oklahoma State ends up winning. Their whole offense was turn, chuck, pray for a PI flag, and there were either 3 or 4 defensive PI calls on the game-winning drive for Oklahoma State. That was their entire offense late in the fourth quarter. Tulsa, I believe, ends up losing late. So let's try it back. We're running it back. You also heard from earlier, if you were listening, Tone called one of them to Missouri. So hints on those two. Northern Illinois, another team that I even said last week, I don't know why the number's so high against Georgia Tech. I know it's 2 teams going in different directions, but for this exercise, I used Northern Illinois. Similar thing, got to use this. By the way, Wyoming I moved quite a bit. Someone released that one and bet it up, mostly 7s now. They didn't look very good in their setup. And who did they play again, Qwan? You don't know. I'm checking right now. I believe it was like a Montana State. And if I recall, they were losing 7-3 at some point in the fourth quarter. Yes. Okay, it was Montana State, and Wyoming scored 16 in the fourth to win 19-16. But it wasn't impressive. They actually got outgained in the yards per play perspective. Not necessarily bullish Wyoming out of the blue, especially if they're not playing in Laramie. So take the 7 with Northern Illinois for this. Rutgers, I have at 3, and there's still a 1.5. Most of the market's 2, but so lean that way wouldn't be nothing crazy. Same with Middle Tennessee State, nothing crazy there. I will say if there was ever an early, what's the narrative speak? Letdown spot for Virginia Tech after their big home win, New Year, beat North Carolina, take the 20 with Middle Tennessee State. I personally just think it should be 18.5. So siding that way, and nothing that I would actually bet for real. New Mexico State, worst team in the world, but they're getting 19 against a New Mexico team that didn't look very good themselves. And by the way, New Mexico State, again, that UTEP score was a little deceiving. They're beating San Diego State at halftime outright as a 30-something point dog in week 1. Maybe they're a little bit better. Maybe they're not the worst in the world. Maybe they're second or third worst, but I think that number's a little too tall. Toledo, this is one that I think at 17 is actually worthwhile, although there is some weather stuff on deck, and if they're unable to throw, I think it was like 15 to 60 mile per hour winds for, as of last night, like an hour to hour and a half window during the game. If they're not able to throw, look, what I was excited about was that they do have a good downfield passing game, and they're going to have better pass protection than Florida State had, and Florida State still took them to overtime, right? So I still like the 17, but a little more cautious in general. If the weather is an issue, I don't think Toledo will be able to just like pound and run the ball against the Irish for sure and win that way. So I'm hoping the weather's more or less clear. Purdue, look, Pikachu liked it yesterday. I'm basically on market there, actually. So that's one, I think, Ken, that was talking about those floors and ceilings. This is one I actually agree with, should be this high. I'll go the minus 34. Air Force minus 6. That's the number across the board. It's weird. I think for the money line round robin, that would have been a pick for a lot of people, like Academy game, rivalry, take the dog. I mean, I actually think it's a little short. Navy's just going to be a mess. The Ohio number last week was just, I mean, they dominated them. Navy might have some issues. We'll just leave it at that. I think Air Force is good under a touchdown. And I believe that's also one that Pikachu bet himself for what it's worth. Penn State, Ball State. I have a question. Qwan, did you ever play in a game where you were on the field for like 90-something plays?
Oh, my God.
How is it the next week practicing and prepping for another game a few days later?
I mean, I'm not going to say, I mean, it's easy, but like you're exhausted that Sunday, then depends on who you play. Like, hopefully it's a cupcake game. If it's not, man, like being on the field when Grand Valley is probably one of those games where we're on the field a lot because our offense 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. So, like, by the third quarter, you just want it to end.
Because this is what happened again the Wisconsin-Penn State game. Wisconsin lost. I think they ran 90 plays, which is just crazy to think about.
Crazy.
Especially with Wisconsin's run game. They're just beating you up every time. Look, Penn State's a massive favorite. Okay? And I lost it on my screen. There we go. They're like 22 and a half. You can put the graphic back up so people can see. I think it's about fair. I'm about 22, but just in case Penn State just is tired, there's a couple 23s. Let's take the 23 with Ball State. I'm not betting it, but for this exercise, I'm very intrigued to see not only them, but even how Wisconsin performs, bouncing back against Eastern Michigan, which is later on the card. I also took the massive number with them. Ugly. Look, there's a ton of these ugly ones. It's early. It's a lot of non-conference, and that is life. Temple, goodness, this is like just my prior. Look, my priors say minus 6 is low. Priors meaning my projections before they just lost to 50 to Rutgers. Who loses by 50 to Rutgers? Like, Temple could be a mess. Stay away from this game, but like minus 6, that's like so low. You're playing Akron, and it feels like it's just the dead loser. Like, Temple might just be that bad, or Rutgers really is that good somehow. I don't know. Congrats to Rutgers. I mean, they were very impressive last year in the weird COVID season. Maybe a couple of years with the new coach, and Rutgers has just turned it around. I also think Temple just might be that bad, so reluctantly have to use them. UAB at 24. I believe this one moved just about everywhere, so I'm gonna grade this 23.5. But there are rumors, and maybe it's official, sort of, that JT Daniels, who had an oblique injury last week against Clemson, is just going to take the week off. They think they can beat UAB without him. They're probably right. Carson Beck, I believe, is the backup, who's been taking most of the reps the majority of the reps in practice. And I don't know if JT Daniels has even practiced since Wednesday at all. So if that is the case, I'll take the 23.5 with a UAB defense that is pretty strong regardless. And this Georgia defense isn't going to let UAB score much at all. I know some people that probably are betting the 44.5s under now, but they're waiting to see if this is official. I don't blame them, but I would lean that way actually for this game, assuming JT Daniels is out. And so for this exercise, going to take UAB. But yes, the number where it opened like 27.5 would normally be the right number, but the JT Daniels swing is probably worth a few points there. So Cal TCU, this is one that looked a lot prettier when we did it Tuesday, but it's up to 11.5 most spots. A few that are still 11. I'll lay the 11. Nebraska, another one that we were doing 13.5s on Tuesday, but 14 now, the best we can get in the market. We'll take that. Iowa State, another one at -4 that I actually like. And in the last few minutes, 27 minutes ago, someone bet it from -4 to -5 at Circa for what it's worth. And there's a few other books that are 4.5. So take the 4s there if you didn't earlier in the week. I think that's a worthwhile bet. A&M, 16.5, little low. I'm 18, mostly 17 across the board. So 16.5, 17, not worth betting either way, but where I'll go with this. Ugly one, Bowling Green getting 14. Look, South Alabama was pretty impressive. Market moved last week on them. They were a dog. They closed favorite. Maybe I need to readjust a little bit, but for now, I think it should be more like 12. So take the 14 with Bowling Green. Rice +8. That's one we talked about earlier in the week. Miami -7.5, -8. One we talked about earlier in the week. And by the way, there are 7.5s now. So that's one I can adjust that actually favors me. There's 7.5s. There was a little bit of App State money in the last hour. Florida International, no opinion, but -1.5, close enough. NC State, look, we're pro Leary. You can get picked now. And I think that's just about a pick. Who did Mississippi State play? La Tech. And they almost lost. They scored, I think, at the buzzer and won 35-34. Yeah, it was La Tech. Wasn't necessarily impressed. And hopefully South Florida just isn't that bad, but NC State looked damn good. So give me pick there. Not enough to bet, but again, for this exercise, I'm going to take it. I think they should be a 2-point favorite on average. EMU, talked about it earlier, just too high. SMU, 21 was a buy. We talked about it earlier in the week, too. There's a 21.5 out there. There's a chance North Texas, just with all of the offensive weapons they lost and the turnover there, just not nearly as good. And if that's the case, Pikachu was arguing yesterday, you should go under the total. Troy, give me the 4.5. There's a 4.5. I think right now, what did we put? Did we put Troy up there? Did I miss that one too? Yeah, I didn't send it to you. All right, Troy, 4.5. It's my bad. I just copy and pasted and missed 2 of them. So Troy will be in there at 4.5. And Memphis -5. That's one I said actually was worth a bet earlier in the week. I liked it all the way up to 6. And that one's missing too. Maybe Qwan actually missed a few. Okay, all good. All right, so it's all good. Memphis -5, Troy +4.5. Next up after that, we'll wrap this up and then we'll get to the Moneyline Dogs to finish the show. Oh, I hate this one. But Texas, I said 7 was perfect. You can still get a 6.5 -115. So I'm going to steal that for the sake of this exercise. But part of me wants to just be so right about Texas, and part of me thinks Arkansas is going to win this game outright. Not sure. Mizzo, talked about him a little bit. Plus you can get 5.5 now. I see a 5.5 right now at Westgate. Just went to 5.5. So I will get another half point if it actually matters there. North Carolina, Georgia State. This is one I'm going against the early move today. Someone bet North Carolina up from 25.5 to 27 at Circa. I'll take the 27. I think that should be quite a bit lower. Look, we went with Virginia Tech money line in week 1. Sam Howell can only do so much without all of the weapons he had that went to the NFL last year. Try to score 4+ TDs or cover by 4+ TDs for that matter. I'll see what I can do there. UW, ugly as can be, +7. There's still a couple of those. I'll just take it, but not betting that game. Vandy, also ugly, +7. Hint. I'll get into that one in a little bit. San Diego State, Arizona. Everyone I know I feel like has bet Arizona at some point this week. I think Aztecs should still be a small favorite, even though they were losing to New Mexico State at home at halftime. They woke up. They took care of business. A little bit of an overreaction. And the fact that Arizona looked decent against BYU, I don't think is anything to write home about. BYU, one of the teams I'm most bearish on, which we talked about for the summer. And then getting into that, -7 with Utah. If I had to, wouldn't bet it, but under 7 is closer to a worthwhile bet, but it's just been sitting 7 now all week. I'll go with the Utes. ASU laying 33. This one's kind of scattered. There's 33s. There's 34.5s. My number's 34, so just found a 33 for this exercise. USC, the 17. Let's just fade USC again. And this is one. There's 110.5. Most of the market's 11. But at 10, for what it's worth, keep an eye on this. I actually would buy the Beavers. I think Oregon State at 10 is a buy. I'm more like 13.5. And I think at 10, push rate on a 10 plus the wins on 11 plus would be worthwhile. So that is that. Qwan, real quick. We had a caller. Did they just hang up, or they've been holding for the last few minutes? All right, let's take the call. We don't have a hard out in 4 minutes. I'm going to make people wait, though, as we take the call, and then I'll do the money line underdog. I already gave away 3 of them. We'll wrap up those 4. I'll talk about the prices, and then we'll do betting extraordinaire just a couple minutes late today, which is totally fine. Welcome to the show. Who am I talking to?
Preston, what's going on? Andre from Massachusetts.
Thanks for holding, man. What do you got for us this weekend?
Not a problem at all. I got to get that good college football information. You're talking, I'm learning, especially based off of what happened last week, the situation in Notre Dame, the 18-point lead that they had, and then it goes into overtime and just a lot of great ball games. So I got to listen to you guys so I get that inside edge, in case everyone take a strong position. For today's business, I'm liking the Pittsburgh Pirates, -1.5 against the Nationals. I think that's what's going to keep me in the green and in contention. That's what I'm feeling right now. And going forward, Preston, I might have to start. Can we place Sunday bets on Friday?
Yeah. You can do any weekend game you want today.
Okay, all right. So I didn't do my research, so I can't jump into that. But next week, depending on what's going on, we're gonna.
You can do it any day too.
So
you could call in Wednesday and say, "Hey, I really like this NFL game," and it counts. You just get 1 bet per day. But as long as it wraps up in the month that we're tracking for the prize pool, it's totally cool. It's not a big deal.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll have to employ that. Just in conclusion, Preston, I remember when you was on J Mac's show and you were talking about, I guess you were in this huge fantasy pool, you and another guy, and you won it, so it was quite a thing. Anyway, the point is, you said that you didn't conference during the week because you didn't want to necessarily change each other's viewpoint. You waited, until I think it was like Friday or Saturday to really get together. And I thought that was just an innovative way of looking at it, because, you say one thing, and somebody else is going to change their viewpoint, and you might have had a good perspective, So anyway, just in terms of being able to call in on a Sunday game on a Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't want to talk myself out of something that might have been, might have been productive. Thanks for the time as always, guys. I'll catch up with you on Monday.
Yep, take it easy. I think he was referring to a Calcutta that I was in because we actually had Jason McIntyre in once for March Madness. So he might have been talking about prior ones or something. Regardless, thanks for everyone that's probably watching this and listening now for the round robin. I kind of gave some pieces away as we went through. Tone liked Missouri. I think that's a good one. I think let's go with how bad ULM looked against Kentucky, and everyone's just slurping Kentucky now. Look, Drinkwitz's offense, up and down. This is, I think, a lot closer to a 50-50 game. So the +175 there. Illinois is another one I hinted at. I just think this is an overreaction. Almost 3.5 to 1 at +340. Sign me up. Tulsa, look, this is like probably my favorite money line relative to the price of the week. Nearly 4 to 1, +395. And again, this is one at +13. I think it's worth adding as a side. And then the last one, Vanderbilt, which is the ugliest, I think, of them all. If you look at the scores from last week, did you see that they lost by 20?
No.
To East Tennessee State in their FCS home opener? They scored 3 points. Vanderbilt did.
That's a yikes.
So everyone sees that. I don't know why everyone's not looking at the Colorado State box score. They lost to South Dakota State by 19 at home. They gave up 43 to South Dakota State, who averaged 7.5 yards per play. Colorado State averaged like 5. And by the way, Colorado State had a garbage TD, or else they lose by 27 at home in the opener. to South Dakota State. So it's not like Colorado State looked very good.
Yeah.
My line, if you throw out what happened last week, my line for this game this week would have been Colorado State about a 1-point favorite. Circa opened them Sunday as a 1-point favorite. Now Vandy's getting 7, and you can get over 2.5 to 1. Excuse me, over 2 to 1 at plus 215. It's ugly. They are going to lose by 21 very frequently. I think they're also going to win this game outright pretty frequently. Their coach even came out and said they were like not there mentally. So maybe step up. It could totally go the other way. It could backfire for sure. But again, it's one of these like, let's find the game with super high variance that I think's super coin flippy, that the market is saying it isn't. I think it is. We'll take the over 215. So only 4 this week. We're not doing 5. Maybe you could add in like I think the high variance, like Raiders versus this Ravens offense that's just a mess without running backs and their first rounder receiver Bateman. Maybe you could throw in an NFL if you wanted some extra action, but we're only doing college football. So by 4s, 3s, and 2s, it's 11 total legs. $100 a leg pays $47,300, just about. So we'll lock those in. Hopefully have similar luck to last week or even better. Taking a few longer shots, like Illinois and Tulsa. We didn't do anything even close to that last week. So good chance this goes 1-3 or 2-2 or even get swept. But these are the 4 that I think make the most sense. Anything you hate before we wrap up the show, Qwan, on those 4?
No.
No?
I know you said you weren't excited about the slate.
Yeah. Well, in general, I mean, look, game day, ESPN, love them. They have to make a decision every week where they go, and they're going like to Ames for Iowa State. Like no one really loves watching Iowa State. Let's be honest. And in Oregon or Ohio State's like, oh, that could be a fun game. Ohio State's probably going to just blow them out.
Yeah,
I think that's going to end up being like a 3-score game.
So
then what's the next best game? The Holy War? Yeah, in my household, we're partying, we're watching BYU Utah, but I freaking know BYU's losing. So like everyone's going to be angry. But I don't even know what the next best game is, and they're only number 3 because that's why I grew up as a BYU fan. Like, are you stoked for, I don't know, Cal TCU is interesting? Texas Arkansas, I guess.
That's it, exactly.
Stanford USC maybe normally, but Stanford stinks.
Yeah, no.
Like, it's just Washington, Michigan. Washington just lost, ranked 20th in the country at home to an FCS team too. I'm not excited to watch Washington, Michigan. Like I think it's a pretty ugly week. So from a betting perspective, from a viewer perspective, I don't know, but those are the 4 I think are worthwhile. Hopefully we run good again. Thanks everybody for being patient, getting through that whole back half. I need a few minutes break before we go. Betting Extraordinaire, separate live link. It's day 1. It's a college question, by the way. It's a little bit different than what we've done in the past, so I'm intrigued to see what you guys think. Free shot at $25,000 after that show. We won't be on until next Monday, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Last word, Cheetah. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the calls. We'll talk to you later. Good luck this weekend.